Hi, I'm going to go ahead and read The Lorax by Dr. Seuss because it's Dr. Seuss's birthday. So here we go. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows and the birds never sing excepting old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see, today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives there. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mufford moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he seeks the Lorax if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a pail and sends a great snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grivelous grub. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slop down slops the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snarkly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the swamp was out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I saw first the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots, frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came a comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. All of my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew what I'd do. I'd unload my cart. In no time at all I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished I heard a gazump. I looked and I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish, and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What is that thing you've made out of my truffula tree? Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped down one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a sneed. A sneed. A fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a yeah, and that. You can use carpets for pillows for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full need. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the sneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for 3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy! You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I told him, shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all I built a radio phone and I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, Listen here! Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Over here, the road to North Neck, Weehawken, and in no time at all in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow! Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So quickly I invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees in one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up any more. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping down as fast as in charge of the other happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor Barbaloos are getting all their crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried and sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must go, regardless of as you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he wheezed, he sneezed and he sniffled, and he snargled and he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffulous croak, Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swammy swams, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. I don't know. For a month or a year to escape the smog you've smogged up around here. More Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making Gluppity Glup also slippity slop. And what did you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glupping up the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap, I say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, and I'm telling you, I'm doing. And for your information, I'm figuring, biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truck everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. Outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree, and then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more sneeds, no more work to be done. So and Uncle bought cars and drove away under the smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. A glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance as he lifted him up by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away through the years while my buildings have fallen apart. I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, Lorax seems to care. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, calls the one slip, let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, eat it with care. Give it water and feed it. Forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. And that's it. Thanks for joining me in reading the Lorax. I hope I didn't mess up too terribly bad. It's been a really long time since I've read it out loud. But thanks for joining, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and you join me next time I decide to read something. Bye bye.